second. And we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to the weekend edition of the Strategic Swing Trader. I'm Sami Abu Saad, Director of Education at T3 Live. We're gonna do what we always do, which is look at some amazing swing ideas and look at the market, determine some kind of a game plan or a bias for next week. But before we do that, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. Also, if you'd like to download a copy of my free ebook, link for that is in the description. But without further ado, let's go ahead and switch to the charts and get started. If you want to help support our channel, be sure to hit the like button, please. First, the market remains all out bullish. I mean, there's nothing not bullish about it. There's like nothing not bullish about the market, especially the Nasdaq. The SPY is a little bit more extended and has that reversal bar, a bit of a doji bar when you have multiple green bars in a row, you know, like so. Let's just say multiple green bars in a row, up, 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 right? Multiple green bars, and then you get a doji bar. You know, that often, you know, that comes before a reversal, a drop. But we don't really have multiple big green bars at all. They're all small bars, but it is extended. So be aware that the SPY and the Qs, but especially the SPY, is a bit overbought. Now, let's take a look at the IWM. I predicted correctly. If you want to look at the past videos, you'll see that I predicted correctly that that money will move out of the IWM and into the big tech mega cap stocks. Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft. And that's exactly what happened. We saw them go way up. And at the same time, we saw the IWM over the past 30 days or so remain exactly flat. In fact, it dropped and is back up now to where it was about a month ago. See, that's March 19th. That will be tomorrow. Today is April 18th. So the IWM remained flat. I think we're gonna start to see the IWM play catch up. We have kind of a breakout setting up. It's not such a great breakout pattern, but over the base right here, over this triple top, over 228.60 on the IWM, I think we will see the IWM play catch up with the Qs and the SPY, which have been leading the way. Okay, so in fact, some can look at the IWM as an entry point for long. I got the Qs at 316.50 or something like this. I don't know the opening price of this day or this day. The opening price, whatever it was, I believe it was 316.50 in my IRA. So if one wants to get into the IWM, I think if breakout over 228.60, that's certainly a valid entry point for the IWM. Okay, so market remains all out bullish, and now I think the IWM will start to play catch up. Let's now switch gears and look at the swing ideas for next week. If you'd like to just copy and paste rather than have to type up the entire list, I copied and pasted it into the description of the video below. So just scroll down to the bottom, copy the list, the bullish and the bearish list, and paste it into your platform, into your watch list, and let's go over it together. First, do I like Apple and Amazon to get into them long up here after a big move up? I don't. But sometimes if you don't get in at the right time, you don't get a second entry. It just keeps going. Sometimes. Now, in the case of Apple and Amazon, the reason why I have them on the bullish list is because I think they provide, both weekly charts for Amazon and Apple have decent, better than acceptable 1, 2, 3 patterns. So the entry for Apple would be over 135 with a stop under 130.60, but I would only play it as a long-term play. Not as a short term. If I was thinking only to hold Apple for a few days, then I wouldn't bother, because that's a $5 stop. Okay, it's almost 4.5. So, but as a long-term entry, okay. Amazon, the same thing, as a long-term entry. over 34.32 by 33.26. It's like it's a $110 stop or something. Huge, but long term entries for Apple and Amazon. Okay, now on to some of the swing ideas. We got CTVA, which has been basing for a while, so I like it long, over the base with a stop under it right here, over 48.50. Stop probably I would use 46 bucks. Can also use maybe 46.18 or 46.50. Okay, it's 46.50 is acceptable, I think, because it's also under the 20. Most of the time I put my stop just on the other side of the 20 MA when I'm playing long and the moving average is pointing up. Okay, so I would just put it under 46.50. So a $2 stop. DVAX already triggered swing, but now has a 1-2-3. Triggered swing last week, but has kind of a 1-2-3 pattern. What's a 1-2-3 pattern? I dropped a 2-minute video, 2 or 3 minute long video in the description at the bottom explaining what a 1-2-3 setup is. Okay, it's a very powerful pattern that I use every single day in my day trading, swing trading, trading the open, trading gaps, you name it. So it's a very, very useful pattern, and it's super easy. And I dropped kind of a summary video that I did one time. It's under 3 minutes. I don't know exactly how long it is, but DVAX has a 1-2-3 entry. Okay, FGEN this is what I call a gap fade. This is when the stock is down a lot and then gaps down, and then you pick it up off the hourly base breakout. Now, ideally, you don't want to see a stock that like based at the absolute bottom. Okay, this is kind of based at the absolute bottom, but it does have an acceptable base breakout on the hourly chart. So the entry for this would be over the base with a stop under it, and I would target this prior high around $24, maybe not quite 24, just under 24. Let's check what the high is. It's 23.98. So that would be kind of my target. GDX, I talked about GDX last week. Now, in last week's video. The week before that, I talked about GLD, and I gave you the entry points for GDX and for GLD. Both have monthly buy setups that triggered. Both triggered. Now, the GDX has a 1-2-3 pattern. Do I like that 1-2-3 pattern that much? I don't. That the entry for it would be over 36.13 with a stop under 35.72. Also a long-term play because it has a monthly pullback, and I like it higher all the way back up to 45 bucks to retest the all-time high. Geo is exactly the same as FGEN. A stock that's down a lot, gaps down, and now has an hourly base breakout. But it also has the same problem as the FGEN in that it's based at the absolute bottom. We did the FREQ, I think. Is that the symbol? Yeah, FREQ as a base breakout over here, and it popped 30-some% on day one, took half on that first day, and then the back half trailed out. Better than break even on the back half. But the point is, notice how it didn't base at the bottom. It based up here, like towards the top. So I like that more than when they base at the bottom, okay? But Geo and FGEN, exact same setup. I like the FGEN more because the Geo has lower reward to risk. That's the only reason. Has lower reward to risk. If you're a subscriber to the newsletter, feel free to log on to your T3 Live account. I've already updated the newsletter for tomorrow. It'll go out via email tomorrow morning before 8 a.m. But if you'd like to see which plays I picked for my own account and for the newsletter, just log on to your customer portal, your T3 Live account. Okay, you'll see which ones I will be taking, because I'm not going to be able to take every single item on my watch list. And besides, there are items on the watch list that I certainly like more than other ones. So I try to take only the best ones. INGR has a long-term setup on the monthly and has a 1-2-3. What do you know? We've been talking about that 1-2-3 setup. The 1-2-3 pattern is when you have an igniting bar, a narrow range resting bar, and then a continuation bar that takes out the prior bar's high. So that's the 1-2-3. So we have the igniting bar that broke a 2 or 3 year downtrend. We have the resting bar that was last month, March, and then this month, hopefully, we take out this bar's high to trigger that 1-2-3 continuation play. So I like it a lot, as a long-term play over 93.66 with a stop under 87.20. Okay, and you can target 140. But initially I would shoot for the prior high as a target one, which is around 107.50. Okay, so INGR is another long-term idea, amazing long-term idea. Talked about it in last week's video. It triggered already as a swing, but I still like it higher. It didn't go anywhere. I still like it higher over 38.40. And then I like the hourly, how the 20 is starting to, how we have a pivot, so over the base and then just under the pivot right here as a stop. So it's a kind of a tight stop on the ERM. IRTC, a big gap down, got bought these 2 days. I don't like it that much, but I think it's worth a shot over 94.80 with a stop under 89.60. So it's a big stop. Target is about 120 bucks. So up here at the resistance area, okay? KGC is another gold stock that has an okay pattern over here long, stop right there only as a long-term play. What do I mean by only as a long-term play? Because if the setup is not, if I think this is a little bit of a sloppy pattern, then I never play it swing. But if I like it as a long-term play, then I try to give it room, wiggle room, so I don't get shaken out, and hold it long-term. So this is one of those that I don't love the setup, but it has a monthly buy setup that's pretty decent, and I think it will not take out this bar's low on the weekly chart, 694. So entry over this bar's high, which is 758. It will also be the break of this bar, that's 760, I believe. Yeah, so entry would be over 760 with a stop under 712 is the right stop, 711 basically. KHC is another one that I've been in since February 12th or 10th, this day basically, February 11th actually. But I like it higher still over this bar's high, okay, with a stop under the base. It has a monthly base breakout. So over the base, stop right here, check out the monthly. It looks good. To minimum 48 bucks up here, minimum, okay? That's the next resistance area, around 48 bucks. So a long-term play. That's the KHC. MDCA, I was in it and I trailed under 360, I believe. This bar is low, whatever it was, 361. So this was a call already, trailed out, and notice it went back up. The MDCA looks exactly like the KHC on the monthly chart. It's that transition A breakout. It has plenty of room up to here. And the small cap stocks haven't been doing well, but as I said, I think the IWM is going to start to play catch up, and MDCA might be good, might resume that breakout that it started a couple months ago. So I do like it higher, but it's extremely thin, doesn't do a lot of volume. Entry for this would be over the base, stop just under it, okay? Like it, but very, very illiquid. So I would never play something that's very illiquid with a lot of shares, obviously. PHM is a home builder. The home builders have been on fire. This is my favorite home builder, has the best setup, over the base right here, stop right here, and it looks like a good hold long term. It looks to me like a long-term hold too, the PHM. Tesla, okay, I put the Tesla on the chart, on the list to say, of course, Tesla bottomed, but it also has an hourly buy setup. Do I love it? No. Do I intend to do it? No. But it's just one thing to pay attention to for those that like to trade Tesla. Over the green bar's high, stop under the double bottom. This bar's low and that bar's low, whichever is lower, and then who knows what the target is. It could see, not tomorrow, not next week, but that would be the target, about 850 or so eventually. But Tesla is not something I will be, it's not one of the ones that I picked for tomorrow, but it's something that I'll be watching. UNH has a 1, 2, 3 pattern on the daily chart, broke out on Thursday. Friday was kind of a narrow range bar, so above it long, stop below it, okay? And this one does not have a target because it's at all-time highs, so you just have to trail it. Most of the time, the easiest way to trail positions is bar by bar. So as long as they don't take out the prior bar's high, one can stick with them. I played the USO long, got out early, but it broke down right here, and I thought, okay, this is kind of the start of the pullback. And guess what? It never followed through to the downside. It started to base, and then eventually, last week, it just popped again. So USO looks poised to continue higher. There's what I call a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern on it. So the breakout and 2 narrow range bars rather than 1. Typically you get 1, right? In this case 2 of them, so over the base and then stop below this bar's low, which is 42.88. So USO oil looks like it's going to resume the uptrend. It's not my favorite setup, but I think oil is going to go up. CCIV triggered on Thursday, I believe, as a short for the newsletter, as a breakdown. It's in the money, but I still like it short under 1925 by 2050. And target, plenty of room. I mean, it has room all the way down to here. But I would target 1750 or so. This base right here for initially. About 1750 and maybe eventually $10. Okay? That's a CCIV. Eyes broke down on Friday. It doesn't really have a very good setup, but under 709, stop over 762 and target the initial, the start of that rally, which was around $2 basically on the eyes. Obviously, it would take time to get there, but that would be the ultimate target. HYLN triggered as a breakdown last week, and it's in the money, doing well, but has kind of a 1, 2, 3. So the breakdown bar, the narrow range bar, under short, stop above it, under 870 by 931. KPTI, I made a total mistake on the KPTI. Now, KPTI, I did very well on it. It took 2 positions in it. On the initial break, I don't know which day this was the day. This narrow range bar. I called it short, it triggered, it didn't go anywhere. And then when it broke a second time, I added to the position. I issued an alert to add to the position, and bam, beautiful. Okay, got it. On the sell setup here, I initiated a new trade on it. I got out of it. It reached target, and then the back half trailed over the SPARS high. On the sell setup right here, I made another call on it short. Bam, got to target 1 already. Target 2 though, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know where I trailed out. I believe over this red bar's high. That's a mistake because I needed to wait for a pivot. It didn't go climactic like here, and it really has room. If you zoom out and look at the KPTI, it has room to $5. There's no support at all. Look at this. Tell me where the support is. There's no support, major support, all the way down to about $5. So I made a mistake getting out of it the second time, and now it has a 1, 2, 3 basically. It's not the best 1, 2, 3 I've ever seen, but the breakdown bar, the narrow range bar, short under it, stop above it. Okay? So I like it. Unfortunately, I should still be in it from that short right here at around $12, but I'm not. But look, I did get out around 10 something. It wasn't like I got out at 12 or 11, but I still honestly should have a back half at least. QS had a gap down. This was my best trade on Thursday for me as a day trader on the gap down, on the QS gap down, and then I like it still short. Look at the QS. I mean, it broke under 3-4 month long base year, the whole year, almost 4 months, not quite, and now does not have any support, almost all the way down to $20. So it looks lower under these 2 bars low. Stop above Friday's high. Okay, it looks lower to like around $20. So I like it. It's a bit of a wild stock, so you have to make sure you're sized correctly. Okay, so it'd be under 34.22, stop over 37.71. SKLZ is very, very weak also. Doesn't have a great setup, but it just like the HYLN, it just looks lower. And has room. I don't know where it has room to. This pivot right here would be the support around $11, I would say, on the SKLZ, and then SPCE is like QS, but slightly better in that it's a cleaner setup. It's a so under 22.62, stop over 24.05, and then the target on the SPCE on space is down to earth, down to 1750. All right, everybody. So those are my ideas for tomorrow. Every day I generate a new list. And some of the items that won't trigger tomorrow might trigger on Tuesday or Wednesday. But every day I scan after the close and generate a new list, and I post the plays for subscribers of the Strategic Swing Trader. If you'd like to join us, link for that is in the description. You can try me out for a month for just, I think, $49. And if you have any questions about anything at all, reach out to customer service, info@t3live.com. Again, info@t3live.com. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend, and I hope you have a wonderful trading week next week. I'm Sami Abou Saad. I will talk to you next week. Take care, everybody. Ciao.